Good afternoon, and welcome to Brunch and Budget on Bonfire Radio with your host, Pamela Capallet, a certified financial planner here to help take the bite out of your budget. Brunchandbudget.com. I'm your sound provider, Dialect, and here's your host, Pamela Capallet.
Thank you, Dialect, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in this Sunday. I hope you're having a good one. I hope you had a great weekend. I am extremely excited about today's show. We have an awesome guest today, Jane Barratt, the CEO of Goldbean. Their mission is investing for beginners, which I know that a lot of our listeners are like, oh my God, investing, where do I even start? And we wanted to have Jane on the show because we got that question a lot, and maybe the place to start is Goldbean. So thank you so much for being here, Jane.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are very, very excited to have you. When I met her and I talked to her, I was like, oh my God, you have to be on the show because everyone is going to want to hear about this company. So I wanted to, since we have an investment expert in the room, have Jane do our investment appetizer for the day. Much appreciated. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about PE ratios, or price to earnings ratios. So Jane, take it away.
Well, so starting on some technical stuff, which is great. PE ratio is something that gets thrown around a lot as a benchmark of how a company is performing against its price, against its share price.
Okay.
Right? So I'll actually start at the end. If a company's PE is somewhere around like 15, 20, that's actually considered pretty good.
Okay.
Right? So it's actually a great benchmark to know. Anything under 15 would be considered a bargain. Anything over would be considered like, oh my God, that's crazy expensive. So you look at something like LinkedIn, and if I knew this question was coming, I'd have the numbers exactly, but something like LinkedIn is like 200.
Oh my God,
it's crazy.
Whoa.
That means they're crazy expensive, right?
Right. So the higher the P ratio, the more expensive it is to buy the stock compared to how much
their
they're earning.
Exactly.
Oh.
So it's the price of the share.
Yeah.
Right. So say a share or a stock, whatever you want to call it, is trading at like $40. And then the earnings, it's called the earnings per share, right? So if a stock is trading at $40 and their earnings is $2 a share, it's one divided by the other, their PE is 20. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But if their earnings per share is like 2 cents and their price is $100, you're like,
man,
it's crazy expensive. But that can also be an indication of there's a lot of momentum. It would be considered a momentum stock if it's got a high PE. It may not have earnings now, but people expect it to grow in the future.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, cool. That was really helpful.
Starting with the hard stuff.
I know. I was like, let me just throw you right in.
Getting right to PE ratio.
Yes, I just feel like it's a term that people hear a lot, and you see it in stock tickers, and people are like, well, the P ratio of this thing. It's like, first of all, you're not even saying the actual word, which is just price to earnings. And when you break that down, it's like, okay, price to earnings, basically price versus how much the company is actually earning. So that makes so much sense. Thank you.
A lot of sense.
So basically, you guys, Jane is super legit. That's why she's here.
So I would get kicked out if I couldn't answer that, huh?
That's how we do it here.
Exactly.
It's always a test
I like it.
at the beginning.
I love it. And I have to say, I have to read your bio because I love it. So this is why Jane does what she does. Her frustration with the disconnect between personal consumption, which drives the economy, and personal finance, from which only the wealthy benefit, inspired her to become a registered investment advisor to apply a more empowered, personal, and data-driven approach to investing. This is why she's here today. Hell yeah. It's so true. I feel like that.
I dig that. A data-driven
approach. Yes.
Messing with the tongue.
Well, and also just like acknowledging the fact that, most people are consumers and we don't do personal finance. That's what rich people do. And why is that? And that is also like why they have all the money.
That's why they have all the money. And it's your money.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy. It's your money that drives the economy. With every dollar that comes out of your wallet, it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
And if it's not coming, a little bit's not coming back to you, it just means it's this linear flow of money through your life.
Whoa,
That's right.
I've never thought about it that way. If the money's not coming back to you, then that means it's going somewhere else, and it's
Someone
most likely.
else's pocket.
Yep.
Mr. Connecticut hedge fund manager saying thanks.
Yep. Where is your money going in the community? When we talk about buying local, it's that's what it's actually talking about. It doesn't even necessarily mean just buying things in your neighborhood, because you got to be aware most of in your neighborhood, tons of times it's people who, like you said, have the hedge fund out in Connecticut
Yep.
who actually owns that grocery store.
Exactly.
So sometimes it doesn't really matter whether you're shopping at Whole Foods or Key Foods because they all
Right.
owned by the same cats who don't live around here.
Oh my God, so much to unpack.
There's
So-
a lot to unpack, but
Yes.
transparency is key. I think having the
I love
confidence
that.
to look behind the curtain and say what's really going on here.
Yep.
You know, whether it's from a numbers perspective or an ownership perspective, or even like, you know, a green perspective or a socially
Yeah.
responsible perspective. But like companies, yes, and even though the law may say they're people, they're not. You know, they
Yep.
act in a certain way, and you really need to look at, do they deserve my dollars once as a customer, and do they deserve it twice as an investor?
Ooh, that's great. Somebody tweet that. Do they deserve my dollars once as a customer and then twice as an investor? And I've looked at Goldbean concept, and if you're literally like in front of your computer and not looking at Goldbean right now, do it because it just
Multitask.
yeah, exactly. It simplifies everything. So I want to start at the beginning with you because I feel like Goldbean is just like this like beautiful baby that you're birthing out of all of your experience in the field. So can you just tell us a little bit about your background? What did you do before Goldbean and how you got here?
So I had a goal, and I set it relatively young. I wanted to, you know, go into marketing and advertising and run a Madison Avenue agency.
Wow.
And you may have been able to tell by now that I'm not from New York. maybe. So, you know, as a
Maybe York.
no, Australia.
Oh.
But, you know, as unconnected, as definitely not wealthy, it was kind of like a crazy, crazy goal. But, you know, I eventually fought my way and literally fought my way into the industry, fought my way up. You know, I was very
Wow.
fortunate to spend a lot of time in Asia Pacific where, you know, there was some great experiences within the marketing world. I was one of the first people in digital. So, you know, had a
Cool,
really
okay.
great career, you know, had a wonderful time along the path. So I eventually did run a Madison Avenue agency. It's nowhere near as fun as it sounds.
Wow.
But,
it's not like Mad Men. I guess Mad Women.
Actually, weirdly, that's why it's not so fun. Yeah. It's still a little
Ooh.
too much like it, yeah.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, Mad Men wasn't actually fun for
no.
people in it.
No, exactly.
That's
It's
very
fun to
good
watch.
point. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, drama.
You that person watch Orange is the New Black and be like, that sounds so exciting, being locked up.
Yeah, terrible, terrible idea. But, you know, I truly attribute a lot of my career success, not to the fact that, you know, I'm smart and worked hard, because, you know, I did that too.
Yeah.
But I've been an investor since my 20s.
Oh, wow.
And so
okay.
it was one of the things that, again, growing up professionally in Asia Pacific, where there's a lot more transparency around money. People, you know, amongst friends, even young friends, will talk a lot more about what they're paid and what they're worth and what they're buying. And so
Wow.
it was this great, you know, entree for me, where I thought it was perfectly normal to start investing in your 20s. And then when I moved to New York, I would say things like, oh, so I'm thinking of buying more Apple stock. And people would be like, ooh, look at you. I'm like, wait, what? Why can't I have this conversation? So I was like, So I'd made it my
Wow.
personal mission
Yeah.
to talk about money and talk about investing. And I would always link it back to my career and say, I honestly believe I had the success I had because I was an investor, and I wasn't scared of getting fired. I wasn't living month to month. I had a base of money that even when by 20s it was nothing, but it gave me this sense of security. So I took bigger risks at work, and I spoke up, and I took jobs that I wasn't anywhere near qualified for. But I think there is something incredibly empowering around having this, you know, again, a practice. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's a base, it's just a practice of thinking differently about money and thinking differently about your longer term options.
Yeah, that is
So-
huge. That is huge. I've never heard people describe having an investment portfolio as a level of security that gave them more ability to take risk elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Like, you had this, even though, you know, maybe your portfolio was subject to like the volatility of the market or whatever, the money wasn't going to disappear. And your job could
Some years it
disappear
did, but-
tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't disappear. You're right. It never
Yeah.
goes away. And
Yeah.
until you sell, you never lose anything. So
Right.
it was just like, okay, so it's down this year, whatever. You'll be up next year,
Wow.
okay. And, you know, as you sort of get year in, year out and start to
Yeah.
realize the patterns and realize there's always going to be good years and bad years, it's like, okay.
Right.
But, you know, and I talk a lot about that, you know, investing is more about options in life. I think we've all been sold a, wait, can I swear on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. We are on internet radio, y'all. Say fuck, fuck, fuck.
To any of my students listening, don't say
Yeah,
those
sorry,
words
turn it
around
down.
your
Parents around. Oh, wait, if my kids are listening, damn. Okay. I think generally the financial services community sells a crock. It is an absolute crock where they show these white-haired people in Adirondack chairs looking out over the beach as the sun goes down.
I know what picture you're
You know
talking
that
about.
picture? I mean, it's also an erectile dysfunction ad, but, it's also...
I was going to say, that sounded like a pop song, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So...
Red-haired cats in Adirondack chairs sitting
yeah.
on the beach.
And it's an erectile dysfunction ad. Plus a financial services ad.
Plus financial stuff, but that's what they're selling. When you're old one day, you can have this view. Instead of, put your money to work and, have a way of putting some aside and growing it while you're growing up. Don't amass a pile. I think the idea is you amass your pile and you give it to someone to manage.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, I worked really, really hard for this money and you're just going to take 2% of it every year for what?
For what I could have done
for
anyway.
what I could have done 10 years ago? Come on.
Isn't that why the best job in America is being a middleman or woman?
You just get to put your hand out and stick your fingers in the pockets of the people as they walk by. It's pretty great.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, you got two hands, right? So if I take some from you and then I give it to somebody else,
the cycle continues.
I never have to reach in my pockets. The thing you were talking about linear money flow, I always like to talk about how there are communities like here in New York, Chinatown is fantastic. I think they said, I'm sure I'm totally off on the numbers, but something between like 75 cents and 90 cents on the dollar.
Like 80 stays.
Something like that, stays in their community. That's a circle.
Yeah.
And
that's a community.
And in black communities in the city, it's something less than a quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the money flows. And again, so I like to describe my career as sort of like, a little bit of the Wizard of Oz. You really know what's going on behind the curtain in these companies, and then you come out on the other side of the curtain and go, everything's great.
Yeah,
That's what marketing is. And so you find people are like, I buy Tom's of Maine toothpaste because it's so awesome and it goes to Tom in Maine. It's like Colgate owns Tom's.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a big public company like everything else. And so when you have that level of transparency around where your money is going and where you're making those votes, it's a lot easier to say, you know what? Actually, I don't need yet another phone or yet another pair of branded shoes.
Right.
I can give it to the local store. I can put it in my own investment account.
Yeah, there's just so much more control and agency when you think of things that way. And that's the biggest thing is like there's so many people trying to deceive you all along the way with the marketing, with the investing, with making it feel like a black box. Because I feel like that's why there's that fear is like, oh, well, I don't know enough about it, so why even start?
Yeah.
So how did you start in your 20s? How did you say, okay, I'm just going to put some money in? Like how much money did you start with? Where did you go?
So it's actually a story I tell a lot. Living in Hong Kong, the first iPod had just come out. Now I'm dating myself.
Oh, wow. 2001.
My husband bought me the iPod. It wasn't my husband then, I don't think.
You
But
didn't
anyway.
have to literally date her.
Yeah, literally. We had like an iMac, one of the first iMacs at home. And we watched this thing. We plugged in the iPod into the iMac and saw all of our music just go, boop. We're like, holy crap, this thing's going to change the world.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the holy crap moment. Apple was trading at, technically, a split adjusted about 1. It's now at 113, I think, today.
Wait, 100?
100
or a dollar? Oh.
It was trading then, at, it split a lot of times, but it was the equivalent of $1.
Oh my God.
And now it's 113. Yeah. So that was the day that we went out and we bought $1,000 worth of Apple stock.
Wow.
Right.
Because we're geniuses. And then we sold it a year later because we're geniuses. Because we doubled our money.
Right.
But you know what? That first 1,000 was very stressful and probably still to this day one of the most scary moves. And then that doubling of the money was the biggest high. It's like, we're geniuses.
Right.
I mean, we did obviously buy back in many times, but I
Yeah.
mean, to have a company like that as a a training
Yeah.
start was just awesome because we love, like,
All
we
the
have
Apple
so
products.
much emotional connection to these products. And we all saw this coming. We all saw Google coming. We all saw Netflix coming. Like, we
Yeah.
all saw it because we used it and we paid for it and we're in there early. And, having that as a aha moment, like, you can't, like, go into Apple now at 113 and expect it to go up 100-fold again. But
Right.
what's
Right.
the Apple of today? Right?
Right.
What is the equivalent of me 15 years ago? Who are those people buying now that will be the growth stocks of the future? Because if you
Right.
looked at the performance, including the PE, back then, it looked like nothing. It was a crappy little company that Dell and Intel and Microsoft were the big behemoths of the day. And they
Yeah.
all saw Apple as a little creative thing.
Oh,
Right?
That's true.
So if I'd
interesting.
listened
Yeah.
to the experts, never would have got in.
Wow. So you basically just used your intuition as a consumer to say, okay, I think this is going to be huge.
Well,
And,
and I mean,
you just like put some money in.
exactly. And so
Okay.
it is, I mean, there's a very famous investor called Peter Lynch, and he wrote a book called One Up on Wall Street, which, I don't know, it reads like it's 1,000 years old, but it actually is still quite relevant today. But he claimed in that book that his wife was actually a better investor than him. Because she'd come home and she'd be like, oh my God, the Limited is amazing. You should shop at the Limited. This is how
Yeah.
old this book is, right? And he'd look at it and he goes, nothing. And then, it was trading at $2. And then a year later, it's trading at 50. And he's like, hey, I just bought into the Limited. And she's like, yeah, but no one shops there anymore. We've all moved on to something else now.
Whoops.
So that's the thinking. It's just
Wow.
understanding companies as they come and, invest in what you know, invest in what you love, but understand enough of the fundamentals to be able to, know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Again, if it's, I'm sorry, JCPenney, but if it was something like JCPenney, like really, they're pretty well done.
Right.
They
Right.
may be a bargain.
Yeah. But they've
do you
they've
go
hit
there?
their peak. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying about data-driven because it's not like trying to predict what's going on or trying to figure out
Right,
what the
'cause that's
pulse
what it could
is
feel
of
like
the youth
sometimes,
or of
yeah.
the consumers. As you're saying before, thinking about yourself as a consumer, what is the thing that brings great value to your life? Like when you saw the iPod, you weren't just like, oh, this is awesome and I like this and I know I'm weird because I like this. You understood how it was going to change your life completely. And then, of course, if it's going to change your life completely, there's going to be a lot of other folks like that too.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I mean, from the data perspective, and this is sort of the other half of our business, yes, we're a registered investment advisor. We tell people how to get started, get you educated. But we actually give people the choice of sharing their consumption data with us. So if anyone's used
right.
Mint or any of those account aggregation and visualization tools, basically that's what we do as well. You can share how you spend money and where you spend money, and we look at those companies and actually assess them for you.
Whoa. Okay, so I put in like my credit cards and my bank accounts, like link it just like mint.com. And instead of just like telling me like, oh, this is where you spent your money, you're going to be like, oh, you shop at Whole Foods a lot.
They're trading at a 52-week low.
Whoa.
They're still ranked at a buy.
Whoa.
We put
That
them in
is
there.
freaking cool.
That's the sort of stuff that we're trying to like boom, like, because that's people, you don't just need the inspiration and the tools, you almost like need the permission sometimes.
Yes,
Like,
it's so true because you have this intuition, but you also have the other side of it where you feel like, I don't know enough, can I really do it? And at the end of the
Hell
day,
yeah, you
like,
can.
yeah, exactly. You're saying, yeah, look, your
Yeah.
intuition is spot on, or maybe not this
maybe
week.
not so much.
Yeah.
And then for people who don't share the data, I mean, we are 100% huge believers in community and the power of community. And, this is like herd health. The more data that is shared, the better for the community. So, right, you may not be very nervous about sharing your own data.
Yeah.
But, we know that you're an awesome urban woman who's, living well in the world. This is what people like you also buy. And this is what people like you also invest in.
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
you can get, but say for me, I'm less interested in what other middle-aged urban moms buy because that's me.
Right.
I'm more interested in what you buy, right? Because you're
Oh.
way cooler than me. So I want to know what's coming next.
I don't know if I'm way cooler than you.
Come
You're pretty
on,
cool.
Tyler. Why are you giving her that look? Yeah, she's cooler.
No, most definitely. Way cooler than me.
Oh my god, I think we have to go to a song because this was, man, I wish we could just keep talking, but I also want to listen to music.
She's
I
showing
am
off how
like-
cool she is.
Yeah, and we'll just go into more of Goldbean, how to sort of get unnervous about investing, which you already started talking about, and just have more fun stories with Jane Barratt, Goldbean CEO, investing for beginners.
Yes. You know what? I've got such fun options today. But we're gonna start off. I figured with Goldbean, I'd go back to one of my favorite MCs from Atlanta, from Philly by way of Atlanta. His name is STS. His project is STS is Gold. And he's got a very thought-provoking song called Why Can't I Say It? We'll be back in a minute. Bunch of Budget, Bonfire Radio.
Why can't I say it? I just say it cause you said it. I ain't racist, ain't no hatred in my heart, man, I know better. I ain't never practiced segregation, never knew no Jim Crow. I did practice your lyrics to sing at the show. I know to never judge a novel by its cover, come on. And I ain't never said it in reference to color, come on. And if I say it, it's like singing you my brother, come on. I was only singing what you sang in your song. I know that when you make a record, hope we all sing along. I downloaded all your records, got them all on my phone. Even my girl listened to you, she the one put me on. I swear it means the world to meet you if I said something wrong. My apology, you're my favorite MC, come on. I say hip hop is universal, if you feel it, come on. I got my hands to the ceiling, if you with it, come on. But if a nigga ain't a nigga, don't say nigga, come on. You know my steeds getting cheese with these white folks. Pardon me, currencies with these nice folks. Nice show, packed crowd, weed and liquor. I'm on the stage and I keep hearing nigga who takes the toaster. Nigga who writes on Roots posters. I looked to my left and I was like, yo, bruh. Yo, that ain't no nigga, hold up, bruh. Yo, cut that out, you about to get punched in your fucking mouth. I figured out cut me off is what he was talking about. I did the song and this fella knew all the ins and outs. He could have been my hype man, a true fan, I have no doubt. Finished up my set, exited through the crowd. That's when homie ran up on me with a packet of loud. Said he'd be honored if we could roll up and blow one down. I traveled over 3 hours, I'm here from way out of town. I found you over the net, now gold is all that I rap. I told him that was a bet, but I got a little bit upset. The way you screamed out, nigga, I could take as a threat. Shit, you lucky I ain't come at your neck. Why can't I say it? I just say it cause you said it. I ain't racist, ain't no hatred in my heart, man, I know better. I ain't never practiced segregation, never knew no Jim Crow. I did practice your lyrics to sing at the show. I know to never judge a novel by its cover, come on. And I ain't never said it in reference to color, come on. And if I said it, it's like saying you my brother, come on. I was only singing what you sang in your song. So if he pronounces nigga with an A, should I be upset? If he grew up the way that I grew up, what should I expect? When Wu told us protect your neck, he bought the cassette. He said his favorites was Liquid Swords and Inspector Deck. I even cried when Pac died, although Biggie's the best. Nowadays, STS, Kendrick, and J-Elect. I know to pay respects, hell, I know why we rock Shell. I know about Run DMC, my favorite uncle is L. I went to public school, I'm talking about K through 12. I grew up in the hood, and boy, they gave me hell. Not the black folk, the white folk, we ain't yoked well. When I went to see my grandfolks over in Oakdale, instead of using N-word, they use words like inner city. The less fortunate, underprivileged, unfortunately. That was where I was raised. Those words would offend me. I couldn't relate to kids in the burbs. They didn't dig me. Hell, I prefer smoking my herb, bumping my Pimp C. Thought that I would be big pimping like him and Bun B. I met my girl at one of their shows, was right in front of me, reciting their lyrics. That's how I knew she was the one for me. Her name is Ebony. We connected kinetically. We've been on the roll ever since, although pathetically. Some people still look at us funny, like it's the 70s. But we put on some hip-hop and it feels like it's therapy. Black sheep of the family. Hip-hop is my native tongue. It broke more racial barriers than anyone's ever done. I be singing songs, I don't just say it for fun. I meant no offense, so now I see where he coming from. The same place we running from, where everyone is one. They used to hate us niggas, now everyone wanna be one. What have we done? I played my part in this mess, so should I denounce nigga like Richard live on Sunset?
You know, cause we never was no niggas. That's a word that's used to describe our own wretchedness. And we perpetuate it now, because it's dead.
Why can't he say it? He just say it cause I said it. He ain't racist, ain't no hatred in his heart, man, he know better. He ain't never practiced segregation, never knew no Jim Crow. He did practice my lyrics to sing at the show. He know to never judge a novel by its cover, come on. And he ain't never said it in reference to color, come on. And if he said it, it's like saying he my brother, come on. He was only saying what I say in my song. Cause every time I make a record, hope you all sing along. He downloaded all my records, got them right on his phone. Even his girl listened to me, she the one put him on. He said it means the world to meet me. If he said something wrong, then my apologies. You're my favorite MC, come on. They say hip hop is universal, if you feel it, come on. I got my hands to the ceiling, if you with it, come on. But if a nigga ain't a nigga, don't say nigga, come on. Come on.
And I don't want them hip white people coming to me calling me no nigga or telling me nigga jokes. I don't like it.
Nigga.
Welcome back, Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. That was STS. Why can't I say it? We're here to talk a little bit more about some investing.
Yes, investing with Jane Barratt, CEO of Goldbean. It's hellogoldbean.com if you're not looking at it right now. It's so cute. I love the name so much. But the thing is, we're here to demystify investing. Goldbean is specifically investing for beginners, and I also feel like it makes investing feel more intuitive. Like it's not this like numbers, like PE ratios. Let me look at these stock tickers and look at a page of numbers. It's like, no, I shop there, so maybe I should invest there because I like it, and let's see what happens. So
I mean, it's like highlights, right? If you look at, here's the thing you already like, you're kind of familiar with the company,
yeah,
and here's how it's doing. I know a lot of times people don't want to get into investing because, looking at the stock ticker and looking at all those things seems like it's a lot. But if you can just lurk a little bit for weeks, whenever you check in,
just like you do on Facebook, y'all.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly, yeah, do that kind of thing. Like you're looking at your own stuff, but then here over to the right, there's a little thing about how it's doing. And over the course of some weeks or some months, you get a general idea of how this goes, and then you get to figure out your baseline. You don't have to take the same risk that you took, actually buying 1,000 shares of a thing. To
Oh,
see
no, it's
how
only
it goes.
$1,000.
Oh, $1,000.
Actually, yeah.
Yes, 1,000 shares because it was $1 share, yeah.
God, I see doing the math of that makes my head hurt.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know. I was like, did you mean $1?
No, yes, it was $1 essentially. Yes, no, but that's okay.
Woo, yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Live
No,
and
but
learn.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know,
It is. It's live and learn.
Yeah.
But it's risk free here because you can look at your own stuff and you're like,
Right.
oh, I'm annoyed at my budget. Oh, but look at how well this is doing.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
maybe I could put a little money in there.
You don't even have to worry about putting a little money in there. You can just understand that
Yeah.
this thing that I like to buy tends to go up and down in this kind of way.
Yep.
Word, that's great. Yeah, just like purely education. I mean, that's kind of also what I wanted to go into a little bit is I feel like there's so much information out there and it's coming from both sides. It's coming from the industry, it's coming from financial bloggers. So how do you know who to trust? What red flags should we look out for as consumers and potential investors?
I mean, you're right. There is so many different places that are noise generating.
Yes.
Let's just say.
Yes.
And again, if you look at the whole big, ad spend, $600 billion every year gets spent in advertising.
Whew.
And a huge chunk of that is financial services. So you may think
Right.
that you're immune, but if every time you're watching TV, there's a finger pointing at you saying, how much do you have to retire, right?
Yeah,
Like you
that's
got
exactly
a whole
how they
lot of
say it.
stuff
Yeah.
going on that you don't even know is going on. But in any case, you're not learning from ads, but weirdly you are. I think I can think of the world in two very, very clear buckets, right?
Okay.
There's one part of the world who exists to serve you and act in your best interest.
That's everybody, right?
Yeah. No.
Right?
In the financial service world, they're called fiduciaries,
Okay.
right? So a fiduciary is like Pamela. She's a CFP. It's like me. I'm a registered investment advisor, right? We are bound by law to act in our client's best interest,
Right.
We can't do something that's going to get us paid first and the client paid second, right? So
Oh, say that. Please say that one
Say
more
that
time.
again.
we can't do something that, as a fiduciary, we can't say, here, buy this awesome fund over here because I'm going to make, a 20% commission and it's going to pay you 2% in 20 years' time, right? That is not acting in your best interest, right? A fiduciary cannot do that. A fiduciary has to, recommend balanced portfolio, really sort of look out for your short and long-term needs.
Yeah.
The other bucket, so fiduciary bucket one, the other bucket is, I'm just going to call them salespeople.
Right.
Right?
Word.
And bloggers and banks and people who are not held to your, best interest. Right? So you go into the bank and, I don't know, you've got 47 cents in there and they're trying to say, hey, you should be moving your 47 cents into this long-term product. Move it into this money market account. and
Yeah,
it'll be
the
locked up
CD.
and it'll earn you 0.0001% by 2020. You're like, why? Wait, what? Why? But their sales pitch is pretty great. They're like, your money's doing nothing in your sales account, so move it into the CD. No, right?
I've heard that line so many times.
Line,
it's like, your money's doing nothing in your checking account. Here's a Frisbee.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you start with that filter, who am I taking this information from? Is it someone trying to sell me something, or is it someone trying to help me? And yes, there will be overlaps. It's not quite that black and white, but for many people, and if you think of the core business of like the Wall Street Journal or CNBC, their core business is advertising, right?
Right.
They sell ads and they need you to come back and read and come back and watch. And so they're like, oh my God, panic, panic, panic. You must know the news, right? They're not selling you advice, they're selling you ads.
Right.
Erectile dysfunction drugs.
All comes back to
It
ED.
all comes back to ED and Adirondack chairs.
I will never think of Adirondack chairs
Ever
another way
Same
again.
way.
Well, when you say
Oh
the
my
white-haired
God.
man to ED, it makes me think about Bob Dole. Remember, he used to do those ads. So
he
now I'm
did.
picturing Bob Dole on Adirondack chairs with that death grip hand.
Oh my God.
going on.
Too many images that I
Too
shouldn't have
many
in my head.
images.
Whoa.
So I think, going back to your question, Pamela,
Yeah.
who to trust? So that's the people out in the world. You've got banks, you've got like trading companies like an E-Trade or
Yeah.
a Schwab, where you
Okay.
can trade through them and they will give you information, but it's not necessarily advice, right?
Oh, that's a great distinction.
Uh-huh.
Information, but not advice. So they're going to say, here's all this stuff that maybe you should
Come on,
know.
learn. Come and
Yeah.
read. Come and, but their goal is to get you to trade because they make
Right.
money through your trade. So like this sort of sense of activity.
Yeah.
We need you to be active. It's not really advice. It's just like all this stuff's going on and you're going to miss it unless you're in. So,
Wow.
so
Right.
it's hard to filter that sort of noise out.
It
Yeah,
is.
When you work with these companies, we said this in a lot of different ways. You got to remember what they're actually selling you.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Yes. Ooh, follow the
Always
money.
follow the money.
Which
How are
linear
y'all
direction is it
getting
going?
paid?
Yes. That's the number one question that you should really ask yourself and ask an advisor when you're looking into that too, right? Is like, how are you getting paid? You're talking to me about this stuff. Because I've definitely had people who met with people that said, oh no, the advice is free.
Yeah, of course. it is.
I met with an insurance agent who's like, oh no, we'll do your financial plan for free. We'll do a comprehensive financial plan, blah, 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 all this stuff.
You can also download Candy Crush for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly the same thing.
Well, come on, whoa,
That's
yeah.
some free. Oh my God, insurance
Where do you
agents are like freemiums.
Where do you think they got the model from? Video games used to be an honest business. You paid 50-ish bucks. They gave you a cartridge. You slapped it in. You played your thing, and it was a wrap. Then I think what happened was somebody at Nintendo was chilling with somebody in finance and was like, wait.
And someone in drug dealing, I think.
Yeah,
so
well,
they
you
were
know,
definitely in the
well,
room.
I mean, if you're hanging out with somebody
Oh,
in
that's true.
finance, I mean,
Same
come
thing,
on
yeah.
now. Not
That's
that
what
we're,
the Wolf of Wall Street taught me.
we're not implying anything. We're just asking questions. But and I think they were just like, wait, that's your model? You just sell things? Oh no, honey, let me teach you. No, let me show you how to get money out of people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny how people. Quickly aside on that, it's funny how people freaked out about. I mean, we even talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
About that model when
Yes.
it's not a new model.
No.
Not even remotely. It's
Not
just
even remotely new.
been annoyingly applied to something that's supposed to be fun.
Right, exactly. It's like first one's free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so
Yes.
crazy.
But I think, I also like, and again, I don't have a shortage of confidence, but within financial services, it took me years to be able to push back on so-called experts. And I
Oh.
found I found the best way to do it was just to ask them a question. You know, do you invest your own money or do you invest other people's money? Right? Oh, you're not actually an
OPM.
investor? Oh, okay. So where's your point of view coming from?
Right.
Right? So
right.
as soon as you find out what's their filter, everyone answers from their own worldview. Right? I put in $1,000 once and lost it, ergo all investing is terrible. It's like, okay, now I
Right.
understand why you hate it. That's okay.
Right,
Right?
right.
But to hear, like, everyone's a damn expert. Everyone's got a point of view.
Straight up.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Ugh, I know.
But are they a fiduciary?
Yes.
That last string of sentences is gonna be my new alarm clock in the morning. That was fantastic. Everybody rewind that and play it again.
Seriously.
Wheel
Oh
and
my
come again.
God. Yeah, I mean, and especially now, today, where it's so easy to just start a blog and put some stuff up and tell people what you're thinking. I feel like that there's still that feeling of like, oh, they have a blog. They must know something about this stuff.
Yeah, but what they know is that they somehow managed to pay down the credit card debt. Now I'm a budget expert. It's like, wait, what? That's just math.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, just like the fitness thing. You know, I lost some weight, and
Now I'm a fitness expert.
it's gonna work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, but you're only seeing it from, like, just like you said, you're only seeing it from one point of view.
Exactly.
So that's what also creates the noise. I
Well,
feel
and you know, you're saying about information and advice. You know, this falls into the category of opinion or personal story, which often just gets conflated with advice and education.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because I mean, really, other than like you're saying, having an official designation, how do you tell them apart?
Yeah.
Yeah, word.
Yeah. And
It's
you have
true.
to, and well, we all got like designations after our names, and no one knows what the hell they mean.
Yeah. Unless you're actually in the industry,
Unless
and
you're in
then
the industry.
yeah, why do you care?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no, and the worst
That's
was
good.
I remember when I was telling Dialect, yeah, there's a difference between fee based and fee only, and he was like, "That's mean. Why?
and
Why
that's
would you?"
important to understand. It's about the most important thing to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. No, that's definitely trying to play you. Come
Yeah,
on.
straight up. Like, what? They sound exactly the same. That's freaking terrible. So the other, just to kind of, the other thing that I also get from clients is, okay, I don't actually have time to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you manage my money, okay, that's fine. But you're telling me now to, like, pick stock and watch it and decide when I should sell it and how do I even know, like, what if I miss something? I'm busy living my life.
Yeah.
It sounds like a job.
Yeah, how much time should someone expect to spend doing all of this?
I mean, I think it's like anything. If you put some time in up front to, set up accounts, right? Even just so on Hello Goldbean, it takes about, 3 minutes to actually become a member and to get your first round of advice and get a free trial. Like, that's very quick.
Oh, cool.
To actually set up
bad.
a trading account can take a couple of days. You've got to you've got to put in your information, you've got to get approved, then you've got to transfer some money. And so, that's already can be it feels like work. But, okay, I'm just going to keep on bringing it back to Facebook because how long do you spend on Facebook?
Yeah.
Right? Or you could
word.
do it with one eye while watching a TV show with the other eye. Like, there's stuff that you can do that's multitasking. I honestly believe that, it's kind of baller to say I'm an investor, right? And
That's true.
especially as a
Right.
young person to say I'm an investor and I own that, right? That's an incredibly empowering statement, right?
Yes.
If someone in some big office tower somewhere bought me an ETF or two, you're really going to call yourself an investor, right? You
Right.
can, technically,
Yeah.
but you don't have that sort of personal
You're
connection.
not connected. And people don't say that. You're
they
totally
don't.
right. People are like, oh, I have a 401k or...
But I don't
"Oh,
invest. It's like,
yeah,
well,
it's like,
you do. Someone
what's
else
your-
getting paid for it, though.
Right, exactly. Ooh, yeah. Oh,
So I
man.
think, in terms of the time, it eventually becomes part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you separate out and say, okay, now I'm going to put my investor hat on and be an investor for the next hour. It's like you start to notice different
Gotcha.
news, you start to look for different clues in the world, and it can become this wonderful passion around, like, we're all trend spotters, right? Let's just
Right.
get paid for spotting the damn trends, right?
Ooh.
So to go in and
Word.
buy something takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really not that hard. It's not something, and I mean, my own personal as well as our company point of view is that for most people it's best to buy and hold. So once you've gone in
Yeah.
and you've bought something, and if you've got, say, a direct deposit and you're putting $100 a month into your portfolio, just you get to a certain level and just buy in again, right? And just buy in again. And over the course of history, buy and hold always proves a better return than
Yep.
trying to manage it and sell. And oh my God, today's panicking.
Oh, okay.
And I think
so you
one
just
of
kind of
the-
decide and then chill on it.
And just chill and check in. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's taking responsibility. Like, you've done something pretty awesome. Because guess what would have happened if you didn't put that money into a trading account and trade? You would have spent it going to Mexico, or
Right.
paying off a bill, or
Right.
lending it to your sister or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
your money tends to slip through your fingers when it's in your savings account.
It's
So
really
she
true.
can go to Mexico.
Yeah, sister went to Mexico. Damn it.
Oh my god, yeah. No, it's true. And I just want to repeat what you said. We are all trend spotters. Why not get paid to spot the trends? And if you think of investing that way, It's way less scary.
It's way less.
You do it anyway. Like it's a part of your life.
Yes, it is.
Oh
It's
my
part of your
God.
life. And so I
Yeah.
didn't directly answer your question, so I would answer your question. I mean, I would hope that it's different at different life stages. Like as you get older, your life gets more financially complicated. Right?
Okay, yeah.
But for someone in their 20s, maybe early 30s, you know, if you were to sort of check in, and this actually going more into the brunch and budget side of the world, you know, check in with your finances once a week. Like, you know, where am I in the bills? You know,
Yeah.
on track against goals. Awesome, right?
Yeah.
You know, investing is a part of that, but it's not something that you need to go and like, unless you totally nerd out and get into it, which I
Right.
do, and you end up going down the
love
rat
it.
hole of like Google Finance. But, you know, incorporate it as part of your media diet and the way that you take stories in and, you know, act on it when you feel like you need to act on it. But I mean, I would do, you know, again, I can't really separate it out. I'd say maybe an hour a week, but
Yeah.
you know, I would read a lot, you know.
Right.
You read a lot about what's going on. And again, the benefits of hindsight and doing it for a long time, a great learning is that once that something is in the Wall Street Journal or Financial Times or the Sun or whatever you read, once it's there, it's news. And
Right.
It's done.
It's too late. It's over.
It's not really over. I mean, there's always drama. Like
Yeah.
VW this week is a great case in
What happened with
drama.
VW this week?
So they got busted rigging their vehicles to pass emission tests. So there's literally millions of Volkswagens driving around the world that their owners think are clean energy
Oh
and clean
my
vehicles,
gosh.
and they're not.
Oh,
So-
Volkswagen.
Whoa,
Yeah.
really? You guys
So
were the safe ones.
They were so nice,
What
right?
the Farfignugan?
Right. So here's what happens,
my
right? So now we
God.
can get upset on a brand perspective, or you
Yeah.
can look into the business impact, right? If you were a VW shareholder, which as an employee or someone, a German, I don't know,
Yeah.
you probably would be, right? In 2 days, they wiped a third of the value out of the company. Just this
Yeah,
one
sure.
giant mistake, right? So if say all your savings was in VW, see your
Right.
30% of it in
Yeah.
Canada, right?
It's crazy,
So
yeah.
and so, but you could look at it the other way and go, damn, their PE is 3. They're a bargain.
They're a bargain.
So this is where you go down the rat hole of information. It's like, okay, they're a bargain, but what might happen next, right? There's going to be killer lawsuits,
Yep.
right? Big class action lawsuits. They're going to have to pay a ton of money to fix the millions of vehicles on the road. They said they
Yep.
put aside like $7 billion to fix the site. Like, where does a company find
Whoa.
$7 billion? Like down the back of a couch? Like, seriously? Right?
They put aside.
Yeah.
I love it when people say that too. Companies
'cause
especially,
we
they're like,
just
it
took
was
we
just over
put
here.
aside, uh-huh.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we just added a zero, so whatever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, again, that's where the transparency is. You know they don't have $7 billion lying around.
Yeah.
But it means that they're not going to open new plants and they're going to put the stuff on, marketing new vehicles and all of those things. So
And again, thinking of yourself as a consumer, I remember, I lived in a town where everyone was really obsessed with cars, and we would read all the reports and safety ratings and all that stuff, and that was all really important. And me personally, just hearing that is enough to shake my confidence in VW kind of forever.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is, it's not just that they messed up, but that was some willful
That was
BS
a
right
deliberate
there.
lie.
So
yeah.
if you think you can get away with it next time, you're going to do it, and you've already shown not to be smart, and you get caught. So maybe it's just time to get out.
So,
Like,
yeah.
you're saying it's a bargain now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
on my personal tip, like then I'm like, oh, I should not be.
You
But
don't want to
again,
support them as a
Right.
company.
Well,
And you have that option with what
You
do.
have that option. But again, big picture is they're not the only ones. So other car companies have been busted for it as well. But this is the sort of thing. It's like, it's
yeah.
not necessarily mainstream news, but it's fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
this is some big stuff. But that's the behind the curtain. You're still going to see shiny VW ads on TV.
Right.
Awesome. We
and they're
care.
not going to be like, look, our
We
emission.
screwed up.
Yeah, we messed
they,
up.
They might
Here
be
you
dialing
go.
that down, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. So then what? So you go through this path, you go down this path, for instance, with VW, and then what's next? Is it like, okay, now I'm either going to decide to buy or not buy? Do I look at other car companies? Like for instance, if I was in Goldbean and I was like, oh, I'm interested in VW, and what would I see? What would Goldbean tell me? Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't be a recommendation right now, but we still can't stop you, right? So what we do recommend with most of our members is to, sort of get busy with a virtual portfolio. We give everyone
Oh.
like 10,000 virtual dollars.
Oh,
And so, you
can
know what?
literally
If you
play
want
with
to
it.
see what's going to happen, like,
Yeah.
by all means, put your, PE of 3VW into your virtual portfolio and just watch what happens. And the next time there's a big corporate screw up and their stock goes in the toilet, you're like, you know what? I remember what happened with VW, and they recovered 10% within a week, right? 10% in a week is great money.
That is
right?
great. Yeah.
So that's the...
So you basically set up a fantasy football for investing?
Yes, it is that.
That's fantastic.
That's
Oh
what it
my
is.
God.
You gotta pick your players. So again,
Wow.
as a advisor, we have a responsibility to promote a balanced portfolio, and it's one of
Yes.
the issues that we have with talking with beginners, of people who are doing virtual portfolios or just putting small amounts of money in. It's very hard to balance a portfolio without just buying like a single ETF, a single
Yeah.
fund that's got a bunch of stuff in it that's already pre-balanced.
Right.
And it's hard to learn by watching an ETF go up and down, right?
Yeah,
You don't
it
know
doesn't
what's
really
going
mean
on in there. It
anything.
doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
right? So what we like to see is people being very active in their virtual portfolio, right? And so
Yeah.
they've picked a bunch of companies that they like, and we generally then will say, based on who you are, like if you're younger, you can take more risk. You've
Yeah.
got a longer runway to recover. If you're older, you should take less risk. So the
Yep.
proportion of sort of individual companies, aka stocks, aka shares, aka equities, like all the words are different, but they mean the same thing.
Yeah.
So individual
So shares,
equity,
stock,
stocks,
and equity
equities.
mean the same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Okay. Got it.
So if you're younger, you might want to have 60, 70% of your portfolio in individual companies. They're considered higher
Oh,
risk, and
yeah.
then maybe 30, 40% in sort of more balanced funds.
Okay.
So, but like the idea of balance is something that, we propose. So yes, if you're just doing a virtual portfolio with one thing in it and it's VW, it's a nice little trigger to go, oh, hey,
Yeah. Like, look.
maybe add some awesome stuff in there.
Yeah,
See what else
right,
is going on.
right. Well, and it's interesting what you say too about the balance, because I feel like a lot of people have 401ks or IRAs that are in these ETFs and mutual funds, and they're not really balancing it with anything that's riskier and anything that they can kind of be more actively involved in.
I think the myth of the 401k is that it'll take care of you, right? The average holdings of people's 401k is not enough to retire on.
Yeah.
And so there's this, and the fact that, in some countries especially, you can actually dip into retirement savings and put a down payment on your house. And
Yeah.
there is a lot of low risk activity in sort of real estate and 401ks. And you're right, the real growth comes with higher risk.
Right.
And the younger you are, and we talk about money muscles versus risk tolerance, because I don't know, risk tolerance just sounds like a disease, but it's like
For real.
But money muscles is just build them up. You got to use them.
Money muscles.
You got to get out there and train a little bit, and the younger that you start, and the more that you can get, get busy with, learning how things work, and over your lifetime, it just becomes who you are.
Right. It's more, you're building the habit now, and it's much easier to have it feel like second nature when you're younger.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Oh my God, we have to go to a song, don't we?
Yeah, let's jump
Wait,
into the
before
song.
we
What?
do though, before we do, Jane, in the last song, she gave us a phrase to help us remember the word fiduciary, and I would like you to share it
during
with
the
our
last song,
listeners
yes.
as we go into the next song.
So, not everyone in the financial advisory world is, straight up. There are still
Yep.
plenty of people that will, as Dialect says, will be the middleman and just take your money. So, yeah, all you have to think of is, this fiduciary, someone who puts the douche into fiduciary or takes the douche out of fiduciary.
There you go.
I will never forget that word
helps
ever
them a lot.
again.
Nor will anyone on the line.
I love it. Thank you.
And
Dialect.
speaking of dealing with douches, we got the MC Faceman with his song Stress. I think
Ooh.
he's stressing him out. It's a new joint from Faceman, another Bonfire family member. We'll check you in a minute. Budget, Bonfire Radio.
In my chest, the bold constrictions flex. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop when they are main drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. In my chest, the bold constrictions flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop when they are main drop. Anxiety is
till my coffin fits. My bosses are ostriches' asses. Stuck up, I look out like, bitch, shut the fuck up, I'll take my chances. Was happy and broke, writing tracks in spiritual trances. Now it's political dances just to get me some answers. 40 plus hours of this shit and that shit. Stuck in this casket, no sunshine to bask in. Damn son, it's like they got you for ransom. Too many bills to not make a grand sum. That ain't fun, you need funds. Hot drop, can't stop before clocking. Weighing my options, scaling the cockpit. Can easily bust a UE and call out sick. Need a hit up a ball just to not call it quits. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. That chest pain ingrained in my heart's membranes all day. I got a puff, mad amounts of haze. Catch me anytime through the day, and I'm probably about to blaze. You take Prozac, I'll bake more sacks. In fact, give me a half, I'll give you the full. If O's a fool, once I exude these grooves. If you want to choose, why'd you listen to the news? It really is the news. The hangman's a taxman who is right hand to the dictator. The average American is the dictator, taking it from quick traders, inside trading. Hope this is trending. Hashtag the American dream is ending. Until now, you've only pretended your belief is suspended. So splendid, I'm winning. Blood pressure ascension, I'm stressing. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top. In my chest, the more constriction of flesh. Feeling vexed, don't know what to do next. Vein pop one day, I may drop. Anxiety is trying to be closer to the top.
Welcome back, Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. That was the MC Face Man with Stress. And
You even sang that word. Ugh.
yeah. Well, stress is stressful. Remember, the best way to deal with stress is to not get it, because when you're
Word.
stressed, it shrinks your brain and makes
Yes.
and makes you less able to deal with stuff, which is in turn going to make you feel more stressed, which will then shrink your brain more.
Oh my God.
So that's why when folks tell you
Brain
that.
is shrinking right now.
I know. Well, that's why when folks tell you when you stress that you need to chill and be calm, even though your body's like, no, I want to rage. You got to chill.
We got to chill, and we are
From
here
93
chilling.
till at least 2016.
Yes, until at least 2016. We are here chilling with Jane Barratt, the CEO of Goldbean. Hello, Goldbean.com. Investing for beginners. Everybody listening, go on HelloGoldbean.com right now. I'm going to do it as soon as I am done with this show because I'm excited. I'm excited to learn how to invest in a real way that means something to me, and that's what we're here talking about today. But before we end the show, I want to do a little brunch break.
Brunch break.
Brunch break. Brunch break. We like to talk about restaurants and businesses that we enjoy patronizing. So I want to talk about La Sloteria today. I had a client take me there for brunch, and it was actually for dinner. And all
Maybe
of the
Linner.
yeah, something like that.
Brenner.
Yes, Brinner. Just combine all the meals.
It's just one meal around 4:30.
Yeah, you
Perfect.
know, that's so efficient. We
So
should do
good.
that.
Huevos rancheros could do it for
Oh
everybody.
my God, it
It's
covers
my favorite
everything.
Brenner.
Yes, and they have huevos rancheros on the menu. Actually, La Sloteria. They are in Gowanus. The owners are local, and they spent some time in Mexico, and it's Mexican food, and it is super mega legit. Everything is locally sourced. All of the food is made fresh there, including the tortillas and the salsa. Nothing comes out of a can. Nothing comes out of the freezer. It's all right there for you. Definitely get their taco sampler platter if you're there, because then you get to try all the tacos and you don't have to choose between 8 delicious sounding things. So La Sloteria, thank you very much. That was our brunch break.
That was a brunch break.
Woo! Okay, back to Goldbean. So The thing that's interesting about Goldbean is you have this product that is great for people who are starting to invest, but you're also a startup. So you are trying to get investors, essentially. So I think that people...
So if I sign up for Goldbean, I can then invest in Goldbean.
It's a
If I
meta
like it.
thought, but
Whoa.
way down the path.
way down the road. Maybe one day.
Would-
Yes.
would
That would
you-
be crazy if we saw Goldbean
That'd
and
be
Goldbean.
so
Well, hey, this is a ethical question, and maybe this is a bit of a curveball, but if you guys have things that you buy and it comes up there, and it also has how it's doing. If you were to have, since anyone who's on Goldbean is definitely buying Goldbean, if you were to always have a little ticker with how Goldbean's been doing. Not like a suggestion, but like a ticker always
Just like,
showing
look.
how it's doing. Is that cool or is that a little funny?
So we are
Ethically.
very heavily regulated, number one. So anything
Yes.
that I buy has to be reported to the SEC.
Uh-huh.
We have, like, if we make a recommendation, we can't buy it ourselves within a certain
Right,
time
right,
window.
right.
So again, there's a lot of laws protecting us from trying to rig the system. Number two, we're not technically public
Okay.
at all. So a public company where you can buy their stock is considered, again, if you think of a sort of a risk, a range of risk, right? The lowest range of risk is like a bond, a government bond. They're going to pay you X% interest every year. There's zero risk because the government's not going away, right?
Right.
And then you start to move up the risk scale in real estate and funds and equities. And like the way other end, like on another street of risk, is investing in startups. Right?
Right.
So
You hear
the
that?
way that
Yes.
and there is again protections for people. It's starting to go away now with there's some legislation coming through, but
The protections are going away.
well, kind of. At the moment, you have to be an accredited investor to invest in startups.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to have a net worth of $1 million outside of your primary residence, or earn I think $300,000
Yeah.
as a household.
Okay.
Right. So you got to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some cash, right?
Yep.
But again, that's locking a lot of people. Again, it goes
Right.
back to the rich get richer.
Yeah, exactly.
Richer. So, yes, we have a wonderful set of investors so far. We are very thrilled that we're about 50% female investors.
Oh,
Again, it's
wow.
the meta problem that we would hope people who are learning today in how to invest
Yeah.
in 10, 15 years' time, when they've explored different options in their life and they've got, money across the different asset classes.
Yeah.
Then they can put some money into the next generation of companies. They can put that in there.
And
But-
they can do it early,
and they
before
can-
it goes public.
Before it goes public, that's the thing. But you kind of need to explore and sort of check off on that scale from
Yeah.
the lower risk to the higher risk, because there really is, again, the guy who spent $1,000 and lost it all, and clearly it's terrible. It's like, get a base, understand what you're doing, learn what questions to ask, and it's amazing how much you learn over your lifetime just with how business and finance works. So when some startup comes to you and says, this is going to be the next Facebook and all I need is your entire life savings, you're going to know the questions to ask.
Yeah. You don't have to say no, but you're probably going to say no.
Yeah, or no, just the first two questions you ask will be the no. So,
Right. Wow, that's okay. So, what kinds of things are you kind of up against? Because the financial services industry is, it doesn't have a great reputation, first of all. And on the other end of it, just like on the blogger end, is these fintech startups with people who haven't necessarily been in the industry or seen it very much. And they're like, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to change everything because it used to suck and now it's not gonna.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, you're like, no, that's not how it works.
I like to say there's a lot of room for improvement. It's not broken. Like, banks still work and
Right.
money still flows around the world. Like,
Right.
Right.
but it has definitely been biased towards serving wealthy people.
Yes.
Right? So the way that fees are structured, like, again, to be able to, what sounds like a very small thing, right? We're going to take 200 basis points
Right.
from your, it's like, what the hell is 200? Wait,
Yeah,
2%?
who talks like that?
You're taking 2% of my money every year?
Yeah.
Dang, right? So, like, understanding that the world out there has been built to manage wealth, right? And to get someone to take your pile of money and give it to someone else, and then a bunch of people will get paid. All the middle people along the line gets paid,
Right.
So some of the challenges that we've faced is that we live within the same regulatory construct as the wealth managers of the world.
Right,
Like
right.
people who have a lot of, ability to both attract big investors as well as to get, a lot of new people in.
Yeah.
So we're living within, and there's a lot of things we can't do and say, as you know.
Right.
As a fiduciary.
As a fiduciary.
So, so some of the challenges has just been to really break through and get to, present ourselves as an alternative that isn't changing. You're not going to get rid of your bank, and you're not going to give up your 401k. This is just something to add to your the list of things that you do to self-improvement in the long term. And I think, but the biggest challenge is to get people, and this is coming back from my old world, getting people to change those habits, right? Yeah. Stasis is the biggest enemy, right? I'm not in jail.
Right.
Stasis is the biggest enemy.
Word. It's so true. It's so true. Getting people to change. And I mean, part of it is this fear of I'm going to mess it up.
Yeah.
Because I've never done it before. Yeah. So I may as well just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, because I'm not in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing all right, I guess.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Well, and that's what's really exciting about Goldbean, I feel like, is that we had the Wealth Friends and the Betterments who were, quote, democratizing investment advising and getting professionally managed accounts. And then we have you as kind of this next step of, I don't need someone to manage my money necessarily. I just need to understand how I can manage my money and empower myself to do that. And that's a game changer, because that's something you're going to want to keep doing and want to keep paying attention to.
Yeah, and it's true. I think a lot of the other fintech startups are doing an awesome job for what they're doing. Their tools are great. Their design is cool. They've done a really nice job. But it's still sort of just a modern version of just give me your money and don't worry about it.
Right.
Whereas
it's just easier to do it now.
It's so much easier. And, and for some people, that's perfect.
Right.
But I mean, what we found in our research is that, the people who we're talking to, they kind of want that education piece and the advice piece and the trading piece, and not having anywhere to send someone to go over there, learn, and go over there, get your advice, and then go over there and trade. Right. Doesn't really make sense. It makes it sound really hard. So that was really the inspiration, marrying advice, education, trading, as well as sort of an insight into you as a financial being is, the inspiration for starting Goldbean, and hopefully we'll make many, many, many people successful.
Yes.
In the long term. That's my goal.
I love it. It's such a beautiful holistic view of investing that nobody ever talks about. So
we did today.
We did. It was beautiful. We are unfortunately out of time. I wish we could just talk all day, but we can't. Maybe we'll have Jane back.
Jane, you're gonna have to come back.
I will come back.
This is a milestone. We're way into overtime right now, but I want to say I complain a lot about how investing in this type of investing in all of its forms feels like gambling.
It's
and
not that.
This is your explanation of it. Your method is not.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it's data driven, and it really sounds like an actual thing you're doing rather than just throwing stuff into the wind and guessing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Spray and pray. We do not spray and pray.
We do not spray
Look,
and pray.
And she ends us out with a dope rhyme.
For real. I love it. You're coming back. It's
don't spray and pray.
So good. So Jane Barratt, CEO of Goldbean, hellogoldbean.com. If you want to find out more, and take us away, Dialect.
Woo, man.
Thank you, guys.
So, thank you. Man, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Goldbean. We're going to end out with a veteran Midwest MC named Longshot. He's got a joint called Wake Up featuring Desdemona from his album No Gold. We'll check you next week.
Thanks
Brunch
for
and
the
Budget.
shout-out.
Bonfire Radio. Peace.
We soaring, finna take it from the bottom where we all came from. Let me not gon' stop till war ends. Get up, keep rolling. Fight hard as one till we all in. No, we not gon' sit, no, we not gon' quit. No, we don't got time for stalling. 99% of us broke, barely getting by doing crack dope. Heavy smoke, we dope, trying to cope with the pain and say how we treat the poor folks. Still slave to the master card. Bills came in a plastic car. No crib, no whip, make you feel so sick. You just think about fasting. But instead you asking God,
Why you choose me? I didn't ask for hard. I just wanna spit for the masses, large. Get my dose on my family's on. Yeah, and we gon' get what we deserve. Keep concerned, sheep will burn. Wake up, man, it's not your turn. Wake up, good morning. 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 Let's go. I'ma get so big, I'ma get so big, we gon' get so big. Show 'em how I live, show 'em how I live, show 'em how we live. I'ma get so big, I'ma get so big, we gon' get so big. Show 'em how I live, show 'em how I live, show 'em how we live. Bang, 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 bang. Hard, no game. Got. Hunger, no games. Yeah. Live life out of order, get your face in your brain. Hey, when you socks and your shoes up, you know what they say, excuses for losers. Hey. No hate, no gain. Wait. Wake up, no rain. Take charge, you the man, they gon' feel your pain. Fuck the pain, build your lane. The rest gon' come and just do your thing. Wake up, good morning. 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 That's why I got into the game, chose my name, not for the fortune or the fame, shooting for the love, dope beats and rhymes, goes way deeper than the sheets and lines. When I speak my mind, I learn to free myself. Ain't nobody perfect, so I be myself. To the floor, keep it more than deep with my stack. Hustle with the devil till I reach the vine. I'ma get so big, we gon' get so big. Show 'em how I live, show 'em how I live, show 'em how we live. I'ma get so big, I'ma get so big, I'ma get so big. Show 'em how we live, show 'em how I live, show 'em how I live. I'ma get so big, I'ma get so big, we gon' get so big. Show 'em how I live, show 'em how I live, show 'em